podcast. You are now listening to No Free Drinks, the Not Your Ordinary dating, relationships, and sex advice podcast.
Join me, Wesley, your Keeps It Real co-host. We were going out, I would say steady for like 6 to 8 months. We just abruptly stopped having sex. So why are we not getting freaky? Like, what the f*** going on? So she's like, no, because I've renewed my faith in God. I know how I am. Like, I'm not going to get no cheeks. I'm going to cheat on you. Brock, your Knows-It-All co-host.
And then my go-to hookup one, as always, and will forever be Tinder. It's just, like, in the bathroom, like, cool, I got these 5-10 minutes, like, just thumb game strong, like.
And Lena D, your No-Chill co-host.
Oh, so do you go down on women? And there were a few men that said, no, like, I don't believe in that. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't believe in you, so we should probably end this.
God, that's harsh as f***.
I mean, it's harsh as f*** to say you're not going to eat my pussy out.
Join us every Wednesday for
all type of societal norms being turned upside down. Hi, welcome back to No Free Drinks. This is Brock, and I'm joined today by my co-host.
This is Lena D.
And this is Wesley.
All right, so today's episode is a goodie. We're talking about, well, depends on whose point of view it is.
Yeah.
You'll see in a little bit. So we're talking about biases in dating. So we found a study that OkCupid did looking at about 25 million of their accounts and kind of just analyzed preference by race/ethnicity and also by gender. And they did kind of like time range. So I'll let Wesley kick it off.
Hey guys, it's Wesley. And I'm going to go through some stats. I'm going to get right into it because I'm going to get in trouble. So I'm just going to get right into it.
These are not our stats.
It's not our stats, I swear.
We didn't survey anyone.
We didn't survey anyone. We didn't make this shit up.
This is straight from OkCupid.
Blame OkCupid.
There will be a link.
Yeah, all this stuff. So I'm going to go through the different races, I don't like saying race, I like categories of people. I don't know.
Ethnicities,
yeah. Backgrounds, yeah. I don't like saying race. We all one race. We're the human race.
Yeah,
it's
I
weird.
agree with that.
All right.
Well, not according to this.
Yeah.
Preview.
All right. So these are the scores from men reading women. Apparently, Asian men like Asian women, then white women. We just got, all right, yeah. All right. The second is black men like Asian women and Latina women equally. Yeah, that's true.
Legends.
Yeah. Angela Yee.
Angela Yee, she's like 40 something too. She looks decent at 40 something.
Latino men like white women, then Asian women, then Latino women. Oh, damn, that's fucked up.
That doesn't make any damn sense. At least they're not just sticking to their own, ethnicity.
Yeah, that's true. But they put you at it looks like number 3. They prefer white women, then Asian women, then Latino women. Yeah, okay. This is 2009, so it may have changed. White men like white women, then Asian women, then Latino women. Damn, Latino women, why are they getting the? All right.
Oh, we're faring better than the next
Hey,
Than the blacks.
Oh shit.
Just read it, motherfucker.
I don't know how to do it. It's not me, by the way, because I'm all with the bear of bad news. It says black women found least desirable by men of all races.
That's a zinger.
I don't know. For me, that's not really true, but I guess.
I mean, this is according to OkCupid.
Yeah,
so it must be based on the people
who use their website and stuff.
OkCupid.
Yeah, and then get the percentages and shit. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to go into women rating men. Asian women like white men, then Asian men. What? Really?
I did see that. There was a New York Times thing that said of all the men, Asian men are like least likely to get married because Asian women tend to go for white men.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Black women like black men, then white men. Okay. Latino women like Latino men, then white men. I don't know, man. I met some Latino men that like black guys. All right, let's
yeah, I don't know what happened to them. Like maybe they use other apps or something.
Yeah. I don't know. This is 2009 though, so
Or they're swiping in person.
Yeah. And it says white women like white men, then Latino men. You know, like besides Asian women, it seems like blacks, Latinas, and white women tend to stick to their own. And then if they don't get anybody that's within their own, then they decide to like venture out. Where it seems as though like everybody except white men decided that they wanted to venture out from the category of men. That
Correct,
they wanted to go venture out and then kind of come back in if they don't find whatever they want within the different categories.
Yeah, kind of go explore a little bit and come back to your
exactly
to your bread and butter.
But would have been awesome if this study had, because I mean 2009 it's not ancient history, but it would have been great if they would have also given like women preferences and men preferences. So for homosexual preferences versus heterosexual, because they only
see
covered.
I can answer immediately because back then
Just
it wasn't legal, you know, it wasn't federally legal. Let me put that out there. Federally legal to be in a same sex relationship. You gotta understand that changed like I think 2-3 years ago, something like that.
But it's a dating
I know it's
app.
it's a dating app, but they
So-
probably didn't quantify it in their app matrix.
Because I know that,
Or maybe we didn't get the stats for it. It could be one or the other.
yeah, they probably didn't publish it or something.
Yeah.
But it would have been awesome to find those.
Yeah, so this is one big melting pot. All right, and then OkCupid did a follow-up, and then so now these are 2014 scores. So for men, all the men changed, and for the most part, they widened their scope of women that they would like to date. So Asian men, so they once again like Asian women, then white women, and now they also like Latino women. So just like I put a little flavor in the mix.
Some sazon.
Yeah, some adobo, man. All right. Black men did the same thing. So now they like Asian women and Latino women equally once again, and now they also like black women, according to the app. Once again, don't kill a messenger. Latino men reversed the order, so now they reversed it, actually complete opposite. So now they have Latino women first, then Asian women, and then white women. So they just bow face, like, all right, I'm coming back home. Sorry, baby, I'm back. And then white men reversed their top two. So now they have Asian women is first, then white women, and then Latino women is still third. Unfortunately, the trends for black women did not get that much better. They're about double-digit percentage-wise in preferences.
Man, he's stuttering over there.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't want to be the bearer of the bad
He's not
news.
used to giving those news like I am.
No. Last episode, like, we're going to find you, motherfucker.
They'll come after you.
Black Mercer. Nah, man. Women were pretty similar to 2009. So Asian woman was one of the few changes they flipped. So now the Asian men is the number one preference. White men is second. Black women got rid of white men, and now it's only black men. and then Latino women stay the same, Latino men, then white men, and then white women stay the same, white men, then Latino men. So not that much variation with men, women, whereas men mix it up and as well broaden their horizons.
Man.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you know what the difference is between 2009. I don't know if they're just getting this just from the United States or if it's just like a whole on their app. It's just like, you know, I'm going to equate it to what's been going on in the United States in 2009. It was just like the Tea Party, kind of making it a little bit political, started burgeoning, getting movement and stuff. And then like between that and then 2014, a lot of like racial things have happened, which is basically, I think that's why like more men and women are kind of like sticking to themselves with the exception of white men. Go figure. Anyway, who decide to still they want to go out to date Asian women than white women. But everybody else has just been like, okay, I'm gonna be within myself more than anything else. I don't know. That's just kind of like the way I'm seeing it. That I think that was a trend between 2009 and 2014 because that's like what, like a 5-year difference between the two.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I think what it's interesting is that women obviously limit themselves a lot more when it comes to and then I don't know how. I think these might be based on like immediate reactions or because it says like that it's quick match. I haven't used the OkCupid stuff before, but it seems like they're just self-selecting to date the same type of people that they see within themselves, whereas men have become more open about expanding their horizons and who they date, which is really interesting. Like, I wonder psychologically what drives that. Like, is it based on implicit bias? So as a woman, you're already thinking about all of these other things that could happen. Like, so for example, sexual harassment or going on a bad date that could end up like very badly, like you might be assaulted, or going out with somebody that you just don't know a lot about. So I feel like sometimes when there's differences in ethnicity and race, if you don't have those people around you normally, like if you don't have friends that are of that ethnicity or that race, then you won't feel comfortable going out with somebody that isn't of that race. So I think for women, a part of why they're so strongly preferencing like their own ethnic groups is likely because it's an attribute of like feeling safe. I don't know, but it's just like it's super strong for women. I think with men, it's not necessarily a concern to think about like, oh, I'm going to get date raped if I go out with such and such person.
Although I've heard men getting roofied before, that's not without, but that's a rare occurrence.
Yeah, but that's not a date. Like I don't know. I'm assuming they got roofied in the club or something when they were like
probably.
out with their
picked
boys.
Up the drink that they weren't supposed to pick up.
Yeah,
Drop that drink.
for them,
Drop it.
Yeah.
You better keep dropping it. Yeah.
Took one for the team.
Man, if it's bubbling, it's not supposed to be bubbling. Don't pick it up.
Yeah, but I think with dating, like women just in general have more to think about. Like,
you think so?
I think so.
I think it's just easy. It's just like swiping right on somebody who doesn't look like you. Of course, you don't want to get like, I'm going to use it as a verb, like get outed, but get outed. But I'm not trying to scare anybody to say like, oh, interracial dating is bad. But
no, but I'm just saying it from the point of view of, and like, again, like some of this might be stereotypical. So I'm going to
here we go.
premise that.
Like, you're going to be the reckless one. Let's hear it. Come on.
No, but
I'm
like,
ready. What you about to say?
I'm going to use myself as an example.
Damn it.
Even though I'm not a person that's like this, but some Latinas will think about like what their family would say if they went out on a date with a black man.
Yeah, but that's with every.
I mean, like I said,
that's with every.
So,
they are darker than all.
Yeah.
So like, there's that element of it. Like, that's one. That's more concern around like household, like traditional values that your family has had, and for whatever reason, you still haven't really managed to break through that. So that could be a concern. Or white women could say, well, I don't know, like, I don't feel safe with a black man.
What?
Like, these are like the implicit biases that are out there. So if they're going on dating apps and sort of swiping on people or trying to match with people, they're going to feel safer with somebody that looks like the people that they normally hang out with. And I mean, the media doesn't help with how they portray black men.
Yeah, that's true.
The media doesn't help with how even black people in general are portrayed. So what my point is that within the constructs of being a woman and like how women have been treated in society around like no respect for like boundaries, or like that men don't understand the significance of no, most women won't take the risk and say, oh, I'm going to be open-minded and date someone from another ethnicity.
It almost sounds like you're saying, like, you know, because how we're portrayed, that we're not used to hearing no. Like, is that what you're trying to say?
No.
Even though this whole Me Too movement has been largely like white men, like it hasn't been like.
I know, but
black.
that's why I'm saying it's related to implicit bias. So
I think it's I think a big part of it is like cultural. Like, you don't have to, like, if someone's of the same race and ethnicity to you, you kind of assume you don't have to like go through the whole like educational course. Like, okay, there's a type of food I like, there's a type of music I like to listen to. This who the fuck is 2 Chainz. Like, you don't have to go through that whole like, or this is the exact part of Southeast Asia my family is from,
right.
My family is like whatever, Dutch, German, Brit. Like, you don't have to like explain the whole like culture and backgrounds. I think that's probably a part of it where
I feel as though even Asian, like I'm using Asian people as like a kind of like a barometer for this statement. I feel like Asian people have to do the same thing. Like, one person's from Vietnam, the other one is Japanese.
oh, yeah, drastic differences.
Yeah, there's so many differences in that. I think there's still an educational gap that has to go along. I think what we're getting confused about is culture and what I actually look like what my skin is, right? What my features are.
No, what I meant by implicit bias wasn't so much culture, but just the fact that. So there's like we've talked about privilege, right?
Yeah.
So,
here we go.
So men have the privilege not to have to worry about getting raped on the way home or getting catcalled on the way home. Like if they're walking in the middle of the street. That is something that women deal with day in and day out.
Okay.
And most of the time, so regardless of who that may be, if you notice like who catcalls you, in my experience, it's been mostly.
Here we go.
It's been mostly Latino men. It's been mostly black men. A handful of white dudes have done it. No Asians have done it though. So if you don't have any friends in your circle that are
I will say
black,
Indians are considered Asian though. So will you redact that answer?
only in India. But there was only Indians.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is like women don't have the privilege of not having to think about either getting like harassed or catcalled and all this stuff.
Okay.
So because there is that added layer in it, and let's say if you're the type of person that this happens to, these like random men are just catcalling you. You are, let's say, very limited in your circle of friends. So you're like, the average person has a very homogeneous group of friends. Like they're only friends with themselves. So if all of your friends are black, most women are not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to date that Asian man. Because you're not familiar with dating somebody outside of your ethnicity, especially if you don't have friends that are of that ethnicity. So I'm saying the added layer of not having wide enough diverse friendship circles, along with women needing to be concerned for their personal safety whenever they're meeting like a new man or a new male. That's why I think they just feel safer dating the people that they've always surrounded themselves with.
Okay.
which is why we see such a strong like correlation between Asian women preferring Asian men, Black women preferring Black men, Latina women preferring Latino men, white women preferring white men. Like that's literally what this graphic shows, and we'll like put a link up there. But I think that also plays into it.
Okay.
And I think men have become much more open to date other ethnicities because it's just like, hey, it's like at the end of the day, it's like everybody talks about how shitty dating life is, but I'm not going to limit myself in my pool because you don't have to really think about any of the drawbacks behind that.
Right.
So I think that's just another element that I don't necessarily feel like that, but in thinking about other perspectives, that could be a reason why women don't really widen their pool of the type of ethnic groups that they're dating.
Okay. All right, let's move on. So
with that said, so we looked up some apps that target communities of color. So there's a couple, and they've been around for a while. So you have apps like Bae and Meld and Asian Date and a couple others. And then, so we were talking about this a little bit before, and we're like, none of us have ever used any of them before. And why is that?
Yeah, it's like, it was interesting to me because I was like, we spent a lot of time obviously talking about the trends that this OkCupid report found. And it was like, okay, what does that say? So we have some theories. Nobody really knows. But with these, so like if these broader apps give us, like to show us that people tend to self-select in the type of people that they're dating. So they're self-selecting their own ethnicity. But they still feel like they're not finding fulfilling relationships coming out of it. Perhaps apps that are targeted towards those ethnicities or those races might be better. But I thought it was interesting that, like, I mean, I'd heard of some of these before. Like I've heard of Meld before and Soul Swipe. I haven't heard of Me Crush, which is supposed to be an exclusive not exclusive, but because all these dating apps don't say that they're exclusive. They said they're open to anybody, but it targets Latinas. And I've never even heard of it. So I thought it was interesting that in general, people are having like a really difficult time dating. But as far as like, as we were concerned, like our cast here at No Free Drinks, we've kind of just stuck to the more mainstream apps.
Yeah.
But I think there is a benefit to having these more niche dating apps that specifically look to connect Black singles and Latino singles. I mean, if you already know that you're going to want to date someone of your own race and ethnicity and you haven't been having luck on the broader apps, then you might as well give it a shot. But it is interesting that out of the three of us, that we're people of color, that we never really thought to use them.
It's on Tinder. All Tinder.
Go for the big fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of it is the volume aspect.
Yeah.
So you go for the ones that one has the most amount of people, which I believe to this day is still Tinder. Then two, kind of like word of mouth, like which ones people have had. Maybe not necessarily, I found love on this app, but at least quality dates. Where it's like, okay, you kind of looked like your pictures. The UI interface was easy to use. It's either free or not $1 bajillion. So I kind of think people go based off of experience of use, not necessarily success of matching, because that's kind of like just hit or miss on like us living in the same city and whatever, happen to be swiping on the same app. So I think people kind of go off experience versus that. So I think, yeah, that's why. But yeah, maybe people should go to these other apps. If you know you're looking for a particular race ethnicity, just go for that app. So now, technically, so can I go? So I'm assuming Soul Swipe is for Black singles.
Yes.
Or if I'm a Latino man, can I go on Soul Swipe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I've
can.
used Soul Swipe before. It just the UI wasn't very catchy to me.
See, there we go. Yeah,
I was just like, it's like Tinder, but it's like a really broken down version of Tinder, if that even makes sense.
Oh, so you have used it.
I've used Soul Swipe, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like all of.
So tell us about your experience, because we haven't.
I've used it for all of 2 hours. Like, what the
Oh,
fuck?
really?
Yeah. I found my fucking cousin on there, and then like I was like, "What the fuck? It's supposed to filter this out." So that's what turned me off completely. I was like,
"That's a no.
You
That's
know what?
algorithm
I'm so good on this. I don't.
You
want
found your cousin on it? That's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm deleting this shit. So I deleted it.
Yeah, UI is important.
But for what I saw, like there were quality people on there. It was just like that whole like Tinder does a good job of like shielding you and possibly your friends, possibly depending on how you set it, from everyone, from like that whole thing. So you have friends of friends.
Yeah.
You can't swipe on them. Well, at least I don't, because that's just weird. But yeah, Soul Swipe, they just gave you whoever was in the area. And my cousin just happens to be working in the area. So it's like, fuck, are you kidding me? Yeah, I gotta delete this. And then she like texts me like, what's going on? I was like,
don't make this shit weirder.
what you doing on Soul Swipe? What are you doing on Soul Swipe? So yeah, I was like, nah, I'm good. I think I told you this story. I thought I did.
No, you didn't. You mentioned other ones.
No,
because you've even had.
No, I'm sure I told you about it.
No, because there was like there was somebody else that had seen you on. I think it was Bumble.
Oh yeah, a whole bunch of people see me on Bumble.
So
A whole bunch of your friends see me on there. You're like, oh my God, how could he do this to you? Shut up.
I feel the Bumble be trying to snitch. Be like, all right, we're gonna put all your friends.
Yeah,
like what the fuck is 10 people? You just showed me 8 people I know.
8 people I know. Like if I wanted to get with them, like I don't need this app to do that.
Like there is real life connection right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. But I don't know. Yeah, it's like I think if you would, but then again, like that was what, like a year ago that happened.
Yeah, basically.
So I don't know. Maybe these apps have gotten a little bit better.
I'm sure they have. It's
We'll
just,
try to-
I'm not trying to use them again. Not in the near
Yeah,
future.
another cousin.
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck, not this again.
We'll try to get some opinions on it. I think that'd be pretty interesting to see like who's using them and like their experience with it. But they're out there, so I know that even we've done a few episodes on dating apps, and we never mentioned them. So we wanted to mention them so that
They
people
get people
that don't know, that feel frustrated, that you're like, oh my God, these are like,
got
I'm
losers
getting
on
a
this
handful
bitch.
of matches. Like I'm not really finding the type of men that I want. Well, there's some other apps out there, or type of women that I want. There's other apps on there that can help you feel more connected to the type of person that you're looking for. And they're not exclusive. So if you happen to be Latina trying to get on Soul Swipe or on Bay, you can.
right.
So.
But I think what I don't like about the stats is that like if you find someone that's really great, but they just happen to be like black or white, something that you don't necessarily date, that automatically turns you off, and you just say, "Fuck it, I don't want to date this person anymore." I think that's weird. I don't know.
It's weird, but if that person already has doubts like that, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or take your ass outside off the apps.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Off the
Basically.
apps.
Another
Entirely.
fucking option.
Stop looking down at your phone as you're walking.
I mean, that's a completely different ballgame, because on apps, like you react to your own biases already.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, oh, okay, this person looks like me. Swipe.
yeah.
No.
There was this one time I don't know if Nico's gonna appreciate me telling the story, but I was sitting right next to him. We were at this party. I was sitting right next to Nico, and he just happened to be on Tinder. And then that same party, he matched with a chick that was like literally 2 rooms down.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is fake.
No, like he already had matched with her and was talking to her, but never said anything to her at the party. I was like, "What you gonna say something to her?" He's like, "Nah, I'm chill right here." I was like, "What?
Too cool for school.
Yeah, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, but I think it's like when you meet people in person, like it's their personality that you get to know. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
because you might see what they look like, but if you're interacting, like you're having a conversation with friends, you're going to hear what they're like as a person. And it's more likely that you'll feel attracted to someone's personality over what you saw when you walked in the door or when you saw them there. So like, unfortunately, apps don't make that easy. Like you screen based on your own biases before you actually get to know the person.
Yeah, it's literally just all looks.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so we also thought about, okay, so we're having a shitty time dating on normal, like mainstream apps. These other apps may or may not be like give immediate results for people. So what if we took it outside of the US? Like what? And even like using these apps outside of the US, if there's like a different experience.
Yeah, so I have a good story for that. So this is about 3 years ago. We went to EDC Music Festival in Mexico City. For those of you who don't know, EDC is a electric dance music festival. Big one is Vegas. I think they just shut down the New York one or took a 1-year hiatus, and they've been expanding. So it was like the second year they had in Mexico City. Never been to Mexico. I'm like, bang, let's do a boys trip. So we go there, and I didn't think anything of it. Like, we're just there. I think it was 3 days. It was like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe. Or just a Saturday, Sunday. We got there the Friday, go to the music festival. As soon as we get there, mind you, it's 4 of us. 2 of us don't speak any Spanish at all. The other 2 are just terrible broken Spanish. It was just bad. So we get there, and then we're just getting swarmed by people that were like, what the fuck is going on? And come to find out, there's no black people in Mexico City.
What?
They're just like, he was like, oh, can I take a picture? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, just want to talk to us. Kind of cool for like the first couple minutes. After like 15, 20 minutes, like, all right, you motherfuckers need to go. Like, we're trying to enjoy ourselves, go to some music, turn up. But then light bulb went off. We're like, holy shit. Like, this is happening now. Like, what's the Tinder game looking like? So then we go back to the hotel, and then we either have Tinder already or re-download it. So this is also when Tinder had just rolled out Tinder
Plus?
Tinder Plus, yes. And it was like the whole like 6 pricing points. So because I was in Mexico when they rolled it out, they thought I was Mexican. So they gave me Mexican price point, which was $199. So which is the cheapest one. I was like, fuck yeah. So got grandfathered into that one. So we're swiping. To this day, still the highest hit rate ever. just matches after matches after matches, just like ridiculous. So then
you go out with any of them?
Yeah, so I got one, and another buddy of mine got another one. So we had kind of like a suite area. So we made sure we like staggered their arrivals. It was just like
wow.
It's like holy shit, like this is amazing. So more of the story is sometimes you have to go where you're a scarce commodity. And then I think also like another part of it, Lena D alluded to, like the history of America between black people and white people and other races aren't also the best. Whereas like country like Mexico, like just kind of like very more homogeneous. So it's like it doesn't have that kind of like negative stigma between races. So,
yeah.
So they're like, oh, cool, someone exotic and new, and just like, oh, cool, yay. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like also in some countries outside of the U.S., there either is more appreciation for people of color and there's more acceptance. And specifically in Europe, what I've noticed when I've gone to Europe is that, so I haven't used like my Tinder or dating apps when I've been abroad, mostly because I'm there for a short period of time and then I'm just like, whatever. If I'll just go out and like hang out with friends or whatever. But what I have noticed is that the diversity of like the backgrounds and ethnicities of the men that do approach me is it's more hetero, like much more diverse. So like the diversity of the diverse. But anyway, so like I'll have guys from like that I've never even had talk to me in the US, like talk to me out there. So like a lot of like European men, Middle Eastern men, like it was just like, oh, it was like, okay, well, this is different. Like, not that I was actually looking to talk to someone, but I just felt like men were just much more open-minded about approaching you. And what I found like baffling when I was in Germany is that men that don't even speak, like, so obviously over there it's like German and whatever other language that they speak. So these were some of the Middle Eastern men. They spoke German and Arabic. So approached me thinking that I knew German. And I was like, no, I don't know German. I know English and Spanish. And then I was like, I can't talk to you. And then he still like stuck around and he's like trying to like type stuff.
Oh, and then
like
translate.
And then like translating it. And then I'm like, dude, like this isn't going to go anywhere. Like I can't even like talk to you. But I felt like that, like those cultural barriers, people just know that they exist, but they're still confident enough to want to get to know someone. So it's like, okay, we can't communicate via voice because, hey, I assumed you knew German, but you don't. Let me try to like use a translator and at least like kind of try to talk to you a little bit, which I've never seen that happen in the States.
No, it's, yeah, we're very like set in stone what we like and just like, I'm just going to keep going on this straight and narrow road.
Yeah. So I've noticed that like, at least when I was abroad, it was interesting the type of men that were approaching me, and just Italian or like German, like, you know, still black men, but sometimes like not even like Black American, like, you know, either from Africa or like they had grown up in Germany or wherever I've been. So it just is interesting. It was just like much more open-minded, and I don't think people spend that much time thinking about race like as much as we do in the States.
Nah, well, my experience has been I've never really used apps across the pond on both sides. But I have swiped in different cities. I don't know if that even counts, but I felt like I get more play in like places like LA or like Dallas, because for LA I think I don't say like aspiring actor in my shit. I actually say what like the shit that I do. And they're like, okay, well, like he's actually like a person that's not art related. That's not trying to make it in LA. Starving. Yeah, that's not a starving LA artist or whatever. No, I'm out here in these streets just doing my own thing in IT. Yeah, just chilling. And Dallas was just weird. Like I was just kind of weirded out by that. Like, but I've had the best hit ratio between LA and Dallas than in New York. New York is like super low. Like these chicks want like outstanding things. Like I'm just like, you need to chill out.
Like, do you see your pictures?
Yeah.
But I also wonder how much of it is like the fact that in those cities, like they're not huge cities. Like, well, LA maybe, but like compared to like being in New York, they're a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And so if we're talking about these self-selecting pools, so people are gravitating towards their own race and ethnicity, when they see somebody that is of their race and ethnicity and they see that they're not from the area.
And successful.
So like it's like, oh, snap. Like, I got to meet this person because just the pools are like much smaller too if you're already trying to stick with your own race or ethnicity.
When your title has some upper management shit in it, you know what it is.
Put on the trap game face.
The trap game. Ooh, he got money. Yeah. A large. Yes, ladies, I can get that large popcorn for you.
Yeah, I'd also echo the Europe sentiment as well. Like, I don't know, just weird. Like they just have an appreciation for different. Appreciation, like Lindy said, like a confidence and like being like kind of sought after, and then while being different is so different like in the States. So like in New York City, it's like, oh my God, you're different. Like, duh. Like, yeah. But like in Europe, it's like, oh shit, okay. So this is junior year of college. I went to Croatia, which is in Eastern Europe. Definitely go if you get a chance. Like, great climate, fun time, and they love black men. All right, continuing on.
Hey, how much did you get? Like 10, 20,
Like 10.
5?
Just one consistent one. So then,
Okay.
so it's junior year, winter break, and I took like a special course where it was essentially a semester-long consultant project.
Of ass cheeks. That's the course right there.
I almost got kicked out for ass cheeks. So then we go there in January, and then so we do research. We're there for a week, meet with the company we're supposed to be helping out, launch a product, and then just for credits, for essentially a full credit course load. So it's myself, it's another classmate, and then an advisor who's a faculty member. So they put us up in like some random houses, ginormous ass fucking house. Each have our own room, whatever. So me and my female classmate, we go out the first night, just getting lots of attention. Chicks are buying me drinks. Guys are coming up to talk to me like just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like this makes no sense at all. Like what the fuck is going on? I'm liking him. I'm like, okay.
Okay, what's
So then,
what's up? They trying to set me up.
what's in these drinks?
Yeah.
So then, fast forward to that. So that night, we end up meeting these two chicks. So I was talking to one of them, and apparently the other chick had really liked my female classmate. But I guess it's like my female classmate never dated a girl, so then she was kind of like intrigued / confused, and that was interesting. So then for that whole week, they essentially ended up being like our tour guide. So we'd have like work or do research by day, and then we'd always meet up for like dinner, drinks, and stuff like that. So then because we were like located in the capital in Zagreb. So then the second day, chick comes over. So Croatian Vicky comes over.
Yeah.
So I know, so we're like corresponding via Facebook. I know the advisor goes out. He said, hey, Brock, I'm about to go on my run. I'm like, cool. Bam, Facebook message. And then my classmate, she leaves the house as well. So I'm like, all right, cool. Croatian Vicky's coming over. So just
have as much fun as you can. Please. Yeah. Don't come anytime soon.
Or if you do come back, like
literally and figuratively.
Or if you do come back, like, you know what's happening.
Yeah.
Cool. So then Croatian Vicky comes over. We have some fun. Then my classmate comes back while she's still there. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Then the advisor comes back. So I'm obviously locked in my room. And then he screams out, hey, where's Brock at? And then my classmate responds, oh, he's in his room. So she forgot. So now I'm fucking panicking. I'm like, oh my Jesus. I'm like, is it in the bylaw I get kicked out for getting cheeks on class trip of school probably? So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, yeah, you gotta fucking hide in this closet, bro. So I think I'm already bust niggas. I think I just put on the towel and pretend I'm like about to hop in the shower and like poke my head out. I'm like, hey, what's up, so-and-so? I'm like, oh, I'm good. So then I'm like just paying attention to like where he's at in the house, and I forgot how I got her out, but like got her out. But I was fucking
threw out the window.
She had to like jump out the window or something.
My Caribbean mom would have whooped that ass. So you did. I was like, oh God, no. So yeah, so go abroad. I'm pretty sure there's no black people in Croatia. Get your free drinks on. Get some cheeks.
Maybe I should try this thing
guy
across the pond.
Across the pond, and with Tinder Plus, you don't have to go there beforehand. You just switch your location, see what the hit radius is like. I'm like, all right, cool. Not gonna plan this trip. Check out next city.
I'm not gonna plan this trip.
I mean, back then you couldn't do that, but you might as well use what's available to you now. So
yeah,
go where you're scarce.
No, it's true. It's like I think you just, but also like being open minded too, because it's like part of it is like I could go to this place because I know that they're gonna like me there, but just being open minded when you're abroad and like trying to see like how people are open to talking to you, and you'll see that the attitude's very different, and hopefully that gives you like some inspiration to change your approach to and like how open you're being with the people that you're approaching when you're trying to date in the States.
Yeah,
since that's where most of you probably live. But for any of our listeners abroad, we already know that you guys are open-minded, so we admire you for that.
Yeah, you guys have a lot more fun than we do.
Oh, yeah, there's a story I want to tell, but you were with me at the time. We went to the Dominican Republic. I remember telling you about this one chick, this one Italian chick. She was thick as fuck. And I was just like, she's staring at me. I was like, oh, I think I asked you, I was like, hey, I think she's staring at me, blah, blah. She's like, no, she's not staring at me. I was like, yeah, I think she is. So we would see her around the resort a couple of times, and she would like continuously stare at me. And Leah D was just like, oh, I don't think so. Like, that's not happening. I was like, come on, let's do it. Let's do it.
I don't think she was that attractive, though. I don't remember who this person is.
I remember who she was.
Because I remember
She's
that.
thick as fuck.
I remember there was that cute. I think she was Mexican. Remember that?
Oh, but that was Cabo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was cute. So I was like, oh, yeah, she's cute.
Man, but that was different, though. She wasn't thick like that.
She was cute.
Put them together.
Well, that concludes this episode. But before we finally conclude, let Brock say any parting words, since this will be your last one.
Shit, that's true. Yeah, it's been great, guys. Hopefully, even if I've been able to help or make someone laugh, at least one person laugh, that's been rewarding. And yeah, definitely keep listening every Wednesday, and I'll be listening myself as well, and I look forward to seeing what happens with no free drinks. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Don't forget to show us some love on social media. Follow us on Instagram by searching for _no free drinks, or you can even like us on Facebook. Choose your poison. And that was our episode today. Thanks for coming. I hope it was good for you too. This is Lena D. Kisses.
This is Wesley. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
This is Brock. Make love, not babies.